Welcome to the Meadowlands Chamber of Commerce Emerging Leaders Podcast, aimed at helping you excel and take your professional career to the next level. Sponsored by Henry Kaminsky Jr. and www.uniquedesigns.net. Now, let's get into today's show.
Welcome, everyone, to another Emerging Leaders Podcast. You got your host right here, Henry Kaminsky from the Meadowlands Chamber of Commerce. And we have an amazing guest today, another chamber member by the name of Jason Hanrahan from Contrast Logic. What's going on, Jason?
Hey, how are you, Henry?
I'm doing amazing, man. I'm a little excited that we're starting to get this warm weather coming in, but I don't want to get too excited because I know it's not going to last too long.
No, do not get excited. Winter has just started.
Right? We still got a couple months left. So let's get into it, Jay. So tell us a little bit about how you got started with your business, Contrast Logic. And you've been in business for over 15 years. I mean, that's a pretty awesome accomplishment. You know, most new businesses last like 36 months. So for you to be this far along, you know, I'll give you a big round of applause there.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, you know, it's funny when people congratulate me on that, because as you know, when I look at it, it looks successful, but it's not. I don't feel successful yet.
Why is that?
I feel like there's still so much more that I have to accomplish, and so much more that I can do, that I'm still just getting started. Like there's just nowhere. I'm not. They're like, success for me is way down the line. But I guess success is nice because, you know, I'm able to have the lifestyle that I have. I'm able to do the things that I'm able to do, and I'm able to work for myself. You know, that's something that not everybody can do, and not everybody can fully understand. I remember when I first started out, I was working from home a lot. I was freelancing. I was writing code all the time. So writing code, it's just like I would wake up, I would get to my computer, I would sit there for 15, 20 hours. And, you know, I didn't have kids at the time. And like, that was just my life. And like, I'd forget to eat dinner, you know, and if it wasn't for my wife, you know, who has stuck by me for so long, you know, I don't think I'd be where I am. You know, it's just having the ability to be able to stay home and be able to just do what I love to do is one of the best things.
That's amazing. So tell us how, well, first of all, you know, as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, it's never a smooth path to success, right? You're not working hard enough if you're not failing or feeling some setbacks here and there, right? So what drives you through those challenges and setbacks?
So I have something that I say to people, and they always take it the wrong way. But I always say that I'm a professional failure, meaning that I know every single way to do things the wrong way, and I'm really good at that. And I think what differentiates people that are successful and the people that have the opportunity to be successful are the ones that are willing to take that chance and willing to fail. And I'm kind of learning that recently, I guess. And I'm not afraid to say that. I mean, I think I try and learn something every day, and I'm constantly learning new things. And the differentiator is really what drives success is just taking the action and not being afraid of what's going to happen, whether or not it's going to be, you know, something that's going to happen is going to be good, or is it going to be a failure? And if it is a failure, then as an entrepreneur, it's your duty to figure out, okay, well, what went wrong and what can I do better?
Right. It's so funny that you bring this up. I just posted a YouTube video, and I do this once a week, and it's called Life Lessons Learned. And today I talked about one of the life lessons I learned, and it was dealing with failure and understanding that failure is ultimately inevitable. Like, it's coming, it's coming, that it's coming, and be ready to react to it, because it's not necessarily the failure, right? It's how you respond to the failure. How quickly do you get back up? How quickly did you learn that lesson that needed to be learned? And what you do after that, right? And I think a lot of people, the reason why they're not successful, or the reason why their business doesn't flourish, is because they throw in the towel, maybe perhaps too soon, or it's what can somebody expect? Say they're on the verge of starting their own business, and they're ready to take that leap of faith, right? What are some of the challenges and obstacles that they're going to have to address when they go and put themselves out there like that, especially in the beginning?
I think the biggest obstacle you're going to have is going to be themselves, and the hardest part about all of it is believing in yourself. And I think that's what it comes down to. If you don't, and that was my biggest challenge in the last 20 years, my 20 years of experience, my 20 years of trying to do what I want to do and do what I enjoy doing. I've had a lot of opportunities. I've had a lot of really good opportunities, and I've also had a lot of things that went wrong. But at the same time, like I think those things that went wrong could have went better if I was just a little bit more confident in myself at the time. If I believed that I am doing what I'm doing and I know what I'm doing, and just believe in it, and just do it. Like, don't be afraid.
So give us an example, if you don't mind. I mean, how do you get in your own way?
I don't. You know what? It's so easy that I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's just not. That's a tough question.
Well, I'll give you a funny story, right?
Okay.
So I have a YouTube optimization team here at Unique Designs, right? So last year I hired this company, and they were phenomenal. They were a nominal fee, and they did a tremendous job on my YouTube optimization. Like, we grew 40%, and it was amazing, right? Something gets into my head one day in the fall and says, you are this service is a commodity. You don't need to be paying this much money. Go find somebody cheaper to do it. And so I take my own silly advice, and I discontinue the service with the great team. And I go to my HR director and I say, go source us another person to do this, right? For 1/3 of the price, right? First week, YouTube videos aren't getting published on time. The optimization is awful, right? And what the straw that broke the camel's back was, I know a little bit about YouTube optimization, right? I always like to preface and learn a little bit about it myself, so I know who I'm hiring, right? Whether or not,
right, you have to,
right? So every time you go to optimize a YouTube video, it's very important to change the file name of the video before you upload it.
So untitled -1 is not good?
Exactly. So I look at the latest video published, and it says Tuesday move 1.move. And I lost it. And so I immediately went to my HR person and said, we need to edit this particular contractor. They got to go, right? Let them know why. We've been tracking this for 2 months now, 3 months now, and it's still an issue. So I call back the other agency. I bring them back on. I pay them 40% more than I paid them in the summer, for the simple assurance that it's going to get done right. That is a perfect example of getting in your own freaking way. Now, how much opportunity did I lose in those 3 months? Not having that great service continued.
Yeah, I want to. So number one, thanks for the tip on the file name.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you did not? Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah. So good to know that. You said something about, hiring them and paying them more because you know that they're going to get it done the right way. You didn't have to worry about it. And delegating is one of the other things that was something that I didn't really learn until later on as well, because my background, my career has been so all over the place in the areas that uh, you know, I've been involved in, that it's kind of limiting to me, because when something comes up, I can say, okay, I could do that, or I could do that too, or I could do that, or I could do this. Why do I have to hire somebody when I could just do it? And that was one of the biggest limiting things for me, because things wouldn't get done, or I couldn't prioritize the tasks that I needed to do. And it's when you're inside the bottle, it's hard to see outside. It's hard to see the label on the outside, and you are a control freak when you can't just let go of all this stuff. So when I'm working on my own things, it was kind of like, I didn't want to give it to anybody else. I didn't trust them. I didn't, how could they possibly know more than I did? And that was kind of like an ignorant thing, I think, for me to think of when I was starting out. And, it's, again, one of the ways that I was definitely in my own way. So
yeah, I think I think we all go through it as business owners. I went through it when I first started. It took me 5-6 years for me to finally replace myself and build out my team. And so, we're all sort of control freaks in our own sense when we first start off, right? Because our business is our baby and we can't let it go, right? But it's just like, for all the folks that are listening who may be parents, right? How difficult was it when we had to let our kids go to school for the first time, or let our kids go out on that date for the first time?
I'm not there yet. I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, me either. I got some time. My little guy's 17 months, so we got some time. But
my daughter's 3.5 right now. So
oh my God! So it's coming. It's coming. It comes fast, right?
She's got some martial arts training before that.
I love it. So moving past that, how does one let go? So how did you know that this is time, we need to let go in order for my business to grow?
Things needed to get done. It was just a matter of, I knew the tasks that people were paying me to do, and I knew the quality of service that I wanted to provide. And when I was taking on too many things and trying to control too many things, certain standards would start to slip, and things wouldn't happen with the efficiency that they should have. And it was my fault. It was my fault when, I could be doing more things. Or here's the example. Here's a perfect example is, I was too busy doing the work instead of finding work.
You were working inside the business, not on it.
Exactly. And then honestly, it's within like the last year and a half, I've very, very fortunate to have the team that I have now, where I don't really have to worry about a lot of the day-to-day things. I focus on the high level, the strategy of what we're doing, and then just maintain that everything is going on. And I'm able to go and do things like go to the Chamber of Commerce and network with other business owners and learn who people are, because that's what I enjoy. I enjoy the relationship building. I enjoy going out there and meeting people, especially in this area. There's no other place like this, and there's just so much opportunity. So I wouldn't have that opportunity if I was sitting home, doing well, not sitting at home because I have an office now. I've upgraded, but working in the business. It doesn't. You have to have that balance of both.
I love it. Jason, what's going on? Fernando here, co-host with this legend, Henry. Just wanted to tag in. I'm really soaking in everything you're talking about, teamwork and letting go, and talking about your daughter and martial arts. I have a niece, Bella. She's the love of my life. She's 11. And I was on Instagram because we followed each other the other day. and she put that she has a crush on someone. So of course the uncle police came on, and we sat down, we had a little chat about it. And I have such an awesome relationship with her. And it's just, I'm fascinated to see how it's like hard to let go of someone you love, and especially your business. And I'm proud that you have. Now, how does it feel now that you've been focused on the business, now that you let go? How does it feel to grow? What do you do with that type of free time? How do you grow the business?
What free time? There's still no free time. It's like life before kids. What did I do with all that free time?
There you go.
Didn't exist. It goes back to like something that Henry said. It's just knowing that things are getting done the right way. I don't have to really worry about that aspect of stuff. So I'm able to really focus on the things that I enjoy doing. And that's helping other people and really thinking and learning about what drives people to do what they do. And I wouldn't be able to be in that mindset if I was working in the business and I was doing the work.
Yeah. Yeah. Eventually you have to replace yourself. There's a great book out there by Michael Gerber called The E-Myth. If you guys haven't checked that book out, it is a staple. I highly recommend it to all my clients and all of you. And when it comes to building teams and leaders inside of your business, Jason, what do you think are some key characteristics that a business owner should have? Or what are some attributes that a successful business owner should massage and sort of build in order to take their businesses to the next level?
You have to be willing to listen. And I think that's number one. And I think that's really the only thing that I would put on the list, because if you're not a good listener and you're not willing to hear what other people think, then you don't really deserve to be in business, because business deals with other people. And, running a business, you're not selling to elephants. You're not selling to gazelles. You're selling to humans, and humans crave interaction, and they want to, at the end of the day, they want to know that you care. And if you can listen to what their desires are, listen to what's driving them to come to you as a business owner, then, you have to listen.
Yeah. Beautiful.
That's so true. Honestly, one of the things that I just got after leaving Business Mastery with Tony Robbins is the importance of creating raving fans. That's really the ultimate reason why we're in business, is to create raving fans internally and externally. Externally with our clients, internally with our team. And it only happens when you build a brand and when you create a culture. And one of the things that I really walked away with is something Warren Buffett said, that in order to really, create that brand and create that culture, you need to have a scoreboard. You need to have something that we can all see as a team. How do you create a scoreboard for your team that as a leader, you can be anywhere, be everywhere, and still continue to allow the team to kind of work on its own? Because I feel like that's so important when creating a culture, is a scoreboard that the team can really rank themselves on.
Do you mean that in the sense of
I'll jump in here. I think when Fernando talks about scoreboards, I think he talks about goals and setting those goals, right? And what does that look like? How important is that? When it comes to growing and scaling your business.
Yeah, that's so. I think that's pretty important when you're looking to grow and looking to scale, and that's where I'm at right now. That's kind of, I can speak for myself and say, my goals are definitely changing, and I'm looking to things a lot differently these days, because of the whole getting out of my own way kind of a thing, and seeing that there's more opportunity now, and you really have to think about what's going to happen, tomorrow. And actually, funny, because I just had somebody that was here right before we got on the call. He's looking to do an internship with me, and young guy. He's 21 years old, and I asked him the question, where you see yourself in 10 years, and he said, same answer that everybody's going to have. That's a tough question, because it is a tough question. And, even if I was to think right now, 10 years from now, where am I going to be? What am I doing? I'd like to say that I've got, a nice, where my family's in a nice, comfortable position. And to me, that's the most important thing. I want my daughter to be able to have the opportunities that she has, to be able to do what she's going to do. And I have a son on the way. Same thing. Like I want I want my kids to be able to have the opportunity. So that's my goal in getting to that point. If that means having to make, X amount of money or get a certain amount of clients or do this, then that's what I have to do. And that's my goal, but the whole 10-year thing, thinking back to 10 years previous, it went by really quick. Really, really quickly. And I kind of stopped to think, I probably thought that this moment was going to be a lot different 10 years ago, and it's so true.
I say this, if you do not design your destination, I could promise you 5 years from now, you will not live in the house you live in, drive the car that you want to drive, have the life that you want to live, the vacations that you want to go on, the experiences that you want to experience. It's amazing to me how many people want to start businesses because they're a good cook and they want to start a restaurant, right? But they have no idea the ins and outs of the restaurant business. They just know how to cook.
But here's the thing. If that same person is willing to go to culinary school, is willing to go work in the kitchen and scrub dishes and then wait tables and learn all of that stuff, then that person is going to be the successful one.
Absolutely.
And I love that. The whole thing with, really shining shoes. I believe we were on another podcast and that was such a huge topic. It's about being humble and really doing what you need to do. How have you used that attitude? Because I feel leaders like yourself and leaders that create leaders have that ability to do whatever it takes. How do you see that as a driver? And what would you say to more 21-year-olds that are looking to interview? Because that's really a demographic that we focus on at the Emerging Leaders. What would you say to them is important to focus on when setting those goals and having that vision? How have you used that?
So that's perfect, because it's something that I wanted to mention. And I was thinking about it when Henry was talking. So I heard some recent advice, and it goes back to the thing of like thinking about where you're going to be in 10 years, right? And think about that person, like Henry, think about who you are as a person when you're in that home, or you're driving that car, or you're taking your kids on vacation to, the pyramids, for example, or something like that, like something crazy, right? And think about who you are as a person and what that mindset is, right? That's the mindset you have to be in today to get to that point.
That's right.
Right. You can't be, the person you are today is not that person that's reaching those goals later on. You have to put that mindset into action today in order for that to work.
Right. And that's what I mean by designing your destination. Everything that I have in my life right now, I saw it. I saw it. I wrote it down. People tease me all the time, like, you're constantly writing in your journal. Yes, because if I don't do that, then I'm shooting into the dark here. And anyone that's listening, I don't want you to do that, because like Jason said, 10 years, I've been in business 12, right? It goes by with a blink of an eye. And if you don't set those goals and be really, really clear, let's take Jim Carrey for an example, right? That guy wrote a check to himself for $10 million and said, by this date in this year, I will have made $10 million in my acting career. And sure enough, what happened? Almost damn near on that day itself, he gets that gig for Dumb and Dumber, and they cut him a check for 10 mil. Nice. Right? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Clarity and vision and focus. And that's why Jim Carrey is the legend that he is, because he had that vision far before he ever saw it happening. So, how does networking and learning from others play into your personal learning?
Yeah. I mean, you constantly learn from everybody you meet. I mean, and I said this before, like I enjoy relationship and I enjoy meeting people, and I've learned something. I try and learn something from everybody that I bump into. And I mean, again, I've been pretty fortunate to be in the same room with a lot of interesting people. My background is in film production. I worked in film production for a number of years in New York City, and that brought me to all different places, all different sets, different locations, different types of shoots, all sorts of different people. And you know, they all have different experiences, different upbringings, different goals, different pains, different challenges, different obstacles. But at the same time, they have the same obstacles that we do, the same challenges, the same goals, the same desires. And everybody's trying to do the same thing. And you just kind of have to again go back to the thing where I said before, like, listen. Like, if you're listening to people, you could build those relationships, and those relationships are worth more than anything.
Yeah. You're really hitting the nail when you keep saying the word relationships. I'm a big believer in something that we call relationship currency, which is really creating and nurturing those relationships. And that's something that I love about, Jim and the Chamber and Henry, that they're all stellar at really positioning people and connecting people and putting people in position to win. And I know you got to get off soon. I'm not sure we spoke about it earlier, Henry. I'm a really big fan of hearing war stories. I don't know if we got into those. Check me on that one.
No. Yeah, no,
Right.
we didn't.
So, Jason, I know you got some time left with us, so I really want to steer in a direction, for everyone listening. We know that being an entrepreneur, and as Henry mentioned, when you're a cook and you want to be an artist, you know nothing about business, there's these areas that we don't know what we don't know. As much as we read and learn and network and we try to find these mentors, there's always these dark times or these times in business when things may get a little tough. So through your journey, looking back, what would you tell yourself, knowing what you know now, knowing the experiences you went through? What are 3 pieces of advice that you would say to yourself if you were starting today, all over again?
I would say, believe in yourself, just do it, and don't worry, nobody's even going to notice.
Ooh, I need elaboration on that third one.
I mean that
one resonated. That's a good one.
So I say that as in, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it out there. Just ship it. Just do it. Just get it off the plate. And no one's going to notice that something was in the wrong font, or it was the wrong leading or leading size, or whatever, or wrong color, or little minor detail that I would just overthink. Just again, like, believe in yourself, because that's the number one thing. Like, if you're not confident enough to believe in yourself, then who else is going to believe in you, right?
That's true.
And then the second one was just do it. Again, just take the chance, just do it. And yeah. And then what was the third one I said? Don't worry, no one's going to pay attention anyway.
So Jay, let me ask you a quick question before we start to wrap up here. Was it earlier in your career that you didn't believe in yourself, and that's why that is such a monumental, piece of advice that you're giving?
I don't know. I don't really know if I have a good answer for that. I think it's just, I've never been a specializer in any one particular thing. I've always been all over the place. My career has brought me all over many different things, and I'm mostly self-taught with everything as well. So if there was something that I needed to figure out, I would just dive in and learn, and I would teach myself, and I would figure out how to get it done. And I think that was the challenge, was, I was never confident enough to say, I'm an expert in this or an expert in that. I was an expert in everything and not being an expert.
So did you ever hear that saying, when you try to be everything to everyone, you wind up being no one to everyone?
Yeah. And then there's the jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
However, let me say one thing. I did work with somebody for a number of years, and I had said that to him. I said, yeah, I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. He goes, no, you're the master of the impossible. And I was like, yeah, I like that. So
I like that.
I registered that domain and I haven't used it.
So Jason, what do you want to be known for? What do you want to be known for 10 years from now?
What do I want to be known for? I want to be known as somebody that's helpful, that's friendly, and knowledgeable.
Beautiful. Fernando, you want to take it away?
You know what, my man? Everything that you said really resonated, and I wish I was at the beginning of this call. You know, we like being transparent. Jumped on in halfway through, and I could only imagine what the whole podcast, you know, had. So I'm gonna have to re-listen to this bad boy myself. So definitely, thank you to you, you know, for really jumping on. We're excited to continue this partnership, and we'd love to hear more about you. More importantly, have a lot of our members meet you as well, because I know the buzz is gonna resonate. So we're having our Millennial Mastermind coming up right after our Bergen Business Expo, and we'd love to have you as our guest. Myself and Henry are really working on some really, really cool ways to create the opportunity for everyone to really connect intentionally and get to know you on a deeper level. So please check that out and be there with us, and make sure to all our listeners to kindly subscribe. And Jason, I'm going to ask you also to help us lead by example, write a review on how it was to conversate with us, how you felt, you know, what you learned, and maybe a message for all the viewers so when they see you, they can quickly go through the review and find you. So, you know, thank you to Henry and all of us really putting this together, and Jim for always directing back there.
So there you have it, guys. Another emerging leader podcast in the books. Just a quick, again, reiteration of what Fernando said. May 8th will be the Small Business Expo at the Venetian in Garfield, which will kick off that awesome day. And at the tail end, we are doing what we're calling the Meadowlands Millennial Mastermind event, which is going to be an amazing event for all you folks out there that want to grow and build a business and really enhance and excel your professional career. So super excited to be hosting that with my man Fernando, along with Jim Kirkos and the rest of the Meadowlands Chamber. So again, please write a quick little review on iTunes if you can. Let us know the feedback. Let us know if this messaging and these ideas and these topics of conversation are resonating with you, because we want to provide you as much value as we possibly can to help you excel your professional career. So have an amazing day, guys, and we will catch you on the next episode.
Excellent.
Peace out.
You've been listening to the Meadowlands Chamber of Commerce Emerging Leaders Podcast, sponsored by Henry Kaminsky Jr. and www.uniquedesigns.net. Don't forget to subscribe and stay connected with us by visiting www.meadowlands.org.